morning and welcome to Act Locally Live with Rogue Media Network and Act Locally Waco. I'm Elizabeth Riley coming at you live from Waco, Texas. It's 7:30 here. Wherever you're watching from, shout out. Shout out to you. I'm sure lots of Tennesseans, lots of Wacoans, lots of Texans in general. So happy to have you here. So happy to have you with me this beautiful Monday morning, in which we are going to have some hard conversations on hard topics and get into ways to reset your mind, body, and soul. Get outside, find peaceful hobbies, and rely on helpful communities throughout the week. We're starting the work week off on the right foot. But what happened in Waco over the weekend? Okay, what did I do in Waco over the weekend? Because I know you're curious. It was announced that the Savannah Bananas are coming to Kyle Field next year to take on the Texas Tailgaters May 2nd, 2026. I love me some banana ball. I think that this is super fun, and I know it's going to sell out like crazy, so I probably will not get my hands on tickets, but shout out to the Savannah Bananas. Love what y'all are doing. Anyways, hundreds of people from across Texas are also going to be gathered at Legends Crossing on Saturday morning for the annual Waco Walk to End Alzheimer's. Each participant had a different flower, as you can see pictured above, that they got to carry through the crowd, through the walk, to represent their personal connection to the disease, and that started off conversations and connecting community. Also, if you haven't heard, the Backyard Bar Stage and Grill is starting a new chapter as they celebrate 10 years in Waco, changing hands to concert promoters Lightstream Presents. The sale was finalized last month, but the events that were planned through 2025 will continue as normally operated until the end of the year, and then next year we are going to see what Lightstream Presents is bringing to the backyard. Yet again, things will still be operating around backyard as normal. This is just the entertainment, concert promoting venue. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. If you didn't know, this week was a bye week for Baylor football, so I was able to have a chill weekend, meaning I could do what I wanted instead of being at the will and whim of Baylor football. So Saturday morning, I woke up bright and early to get a list of chores done. I hit HEB before absolutely anybody is there. Look at that place. Here, everything is better. I hit the store before anyone in Waco is awake because I will not be struggling with the crowd. They are still stocking the shelves by the time that I've already checked out, put my bags in the car, and left. Okay, you will not ever see me there. I personally love knocking off my chores, my to-do list, taking care of all of the extensions of myself, such as my apartment and my living space and my car. So Saturday morning, after I got my grocery shopping done, drove back, started a little bit of meal prep, fed myself because that is always important. And then I headed back out, washed and cleaned my car, came back, got busy on my apartment. It just felt so good. I feel much better and more at peace when my space is clean. My mind may still be a mess, but I look like I have my shit together, and that is what matters. I was able to catch up with a dear friend, Angela, over the weekend, and I hadn't seen her in a hot minute, but she was telling me all about the Tate McRae concert that she went to, and she also attended Austin City Limits Weekend 1. She got to see Role Model, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, The Killers, and John Summit all live in her hometown. So I love concerts, and we've discussed my passion for a good dance break and feeling the beat in your chest, but a music festival like this, count me out. Overwhelming. Oh my goodness. We were watching college football and chatting for hours. It was probably a 5-hour conversation, 5-hour catch up. Like I said, we hadn't seen each other in a minute. We have a lot to dive into. And then after all of that, I hit the Dancing Bear pub. Predictably, ooh, sue me. There was a time in my freshman year of college when I could stay out until 4 a.m. God bless her, because now I am begging my friends to finish their beers by 10 p.m. so I can get the hell to bed. That was how my Saturday went. that's a perfect Saturday in my opinion. I woke up Sunday morning, made some plans with some friends, and then went out and did some of my own shopping. It was really unsuccessful though, left with money still burning a hole in my pocket and none of my retail therapy fulfilled. So, stopped by Spice Village, bought a necklace. It was expensive, so made me feel good about myself, I guess. If you don't know, today is Indigenous Peoples Day, and Indigenous Peoples Day is celebrated the second Monday of October, and it is meant to uplift and recognize the history and the contributions of Indigenous peoples and tribal nations across the world. Indigenous Peoples Day celebrates, recognizes, and honors the beautiful traditions and cultures of Indigenous peoples, like I said, not just in America, but around the world. There are an estimated 476 million Indigenous peoples living across the world in 90 different countries. They make up less than 6% of the world's population, but they account for at least 15% of the world's poorest. They also speak an overwhelming majority of the world's estimated 7,000 languages and represent 5,000 different cultures. Indigenous peoples are inheritors and practitioners of unique cultures and ways of relating to the people and environment, and they have retained social, cultural, economic, and political characteristics distinct from any dominant societies in which they live. So, despite their cultural differences, Indigenous peoples from around the world share such common problems related to the protection of their rights as distinct peoples. Indigenous peoples have sought the recognition of their identities, their way of life, their right to traditional lands, territories, and natural resources for years. And yet, throughout history, those rights have been continuously violated. So today, on Indigenous Peoples Day, as Indigenous peoples are arguably the most disadvantaged and vulnerable groups of people in the world, it is important that the international community now recognizes that special measures are required to protect their rights and maintain their distinct cultures and way of life. Their way of life and culture carries wisdom and valuable insight that must be revived, preserved, and appreciated. So, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. We are going to take a quick break and then get into this week, which is OCD Awareness Week. So I've got some personal experience on that. Stay around and I'll tell you all about it.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
The Ulike Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ulike.com. Ulike.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Welcome back to Act Locally Live. This week is OCD Awareness Week. It is starting off October 13th and concludes October 18th. And OCD Awareness Week is a worldwide event that serves to dispel myths about obsessive compulsive disorder, break the stigma around mental illness, and provide education about the disorder and how to support those who are affected by it. For the over 200 million people worldwide living with OCD, public misconception can prevent accessibility to timely, effective treatment. And that just causes more suffering than thriving. So this week, whether you share some facts, you tell your own story, or otherwise support OCD Awareness Week, you are making a powerful difference by joining this conversation with me. I was officially diagnosed with OCD at 21 years old, meaning I lived a long time not understanding what the hell my brain was doing to itself. And OCD is also called the doubting disorder because it not only makes you doubt yourself and all aspects of your life, but most of the thoughts that come with OCD are entirely illogical, which makes you doubt others, including those you love and trust, and just your most basic understanding of reality. Obsessions are unwanted, intrusive thoughts, images, or urges that will trigger intense feelings of distress, and they are often paired with compulsions, which is a behavior that you must engage in to attempt to get rid of the obsession or decrease stress. So there is a huge public misconception that OCD is just a minor quirky personality trait and that everyone is a little bit OCD. In reality, OCD is a serious and often debilitating mental health disorder that affects people of all ages and walks of life. One of the unintended consequences of mental health education and advocacy amidst of time of social media has been the watering down of clinical terminology. So informing yourself on what obsessions and compulsions are, intrusive versus impulsive thoughts, things that are just surrounding this form of mental health, and the words that we use to describe things, they matter. Pay attention to it. Many people can experience obsessive thoughts or compulsive behaviors at some point in their lives, but that does not mean that we all have diagnosable obsessive compulsive disorder. In order for a diagnosis of OCD to be made, the cycle of obsessions and compulsions must be so extreme that it consumes so much of your time, more than an hour every single day. And it causes intense distress and gets in the way of important activities that a person values. I started in college as a psychology degree, and I did not end that way. But one thing that I stuck with, that kept with me, and something that was brought up again in my therapies, was the 4 Ds of abnormality in psychology or psychopathology. So the first D in a diagnosis is deviance. You have behaviors, thoughts, or emotions that deviate from societal norms or expectations. This is obviously subjective, because what does societal norm or expectation mean? There is a whole DSM-5 that describes for your therapist what normal behaviors are considered. They will know. The second D for the 4 Ds of abnormality is distress. So this is a significant personal suffering or discomfort that is caused by the deviant behavior, thought, or emotion. The third D is that both of these start causing dysfunction. They interfere with daily functioning, such as work, relationships, or just social activities. And then finally, it causes danger for yourself or for others, and that includes suicidal thoughts or actions. And yet again, not all behaviors meet the criteria and are indicative of a mental disorder, and a comprehensive evaluation from a qualified mental health professional is highly encouraged before you go self-diagnosing any of your 4 Ds or OCD. Obviously, I passed the OCD test with flying colors, no studying needed. I was simply in talk therapy, working out my thought processes with a mental health professional when she kind of suggested the idea. She was like, "Has anyone ever come to you with this?" And I was like, no. I was then connected with a psychiatrist who was able to give me a lot more information on the specific diagnosis and even connected me with an OCD specific resource. Going to therapy with OCD has been described to me, and I will then spit it back out at you, as being in a boxing ring with an imaginary opponent that is your worst fear. And I have to agree with that. A lot of it is straight up exposure therapy or forcing yourself out of patterns that have been created for the sake of your safety. Some common obsessions that I personally have had to fist fight dealing with OCD is contaminated substances. I fight that on a daily basis. So my hands aren't washed raw, but it also appears for me in my relationship with food. There are some obsessions that are violent. So you have a fear of acting on a violent impulse to harm oneself or others, or you have an excessive concern with violent images that are running through your mind. Again, the difference between an intrusive and an impulsive thought. Intrusive, it is violent, unwanted, harmful, etc. Impulsive is when you just want to go do something quirky, Sarah. There are responsibility obsessions, which is the fear of being responsible for something terrible happening, fear of harming others, simply not being careful enough. And then there are also moral obsessions and identity obsessions. And these are just, a lot of the times you're asking how a lot of these things could be OCD when you may only see it as counting, organization, tapping, whatever it may be. These are more forms of what they call pure OCD, and that is purely mental compulsions and obsessions. So you are rehearsing things in your head, you are seeking reassurance. Yet again, the compulsions and rituals that are crafted to decrease the distress of the fears are not enjoyable. They are time consuming and they get in the way of important activities that I genuinely value. And like I said, most, not all, but most of my compulsions are mental, meaning you simply wouldn't see or notice an OCD spiral when it hits. So I've only had one friend who was close enough to call me out for going somewhere. She was like, hey, where'd you go just then? And I was like, I was having thoughts. And she was like, I could tell you weren't with us for a second. So as scary and threatening as all of this sounds, obsessive compulsive disorder is manageable with treatment. And there are community groups and individual therapists that want to talk to you, that want to help you through whatever it is that you are going through, and that want to provide resources to further support you. So this week, I challenge you to share your story, listen to the stories of those living with OCD, and share findings on living with the reality of it, and challenge the myths and the misinformation that you see regarding OCD and this diagnosis. Again, having a diagnosis gave me more validation in life than I could have anticipated. The systems that followed, the support systems that followed, and the ones that continue to follow me, simply have made the difference in how I've moved forward and how I continue living with OCD. And, that diagnosis was validating in more ways than, I could ever share. So we are going to take a little break and we are going to get into what is coming up this week in Waco, but keep with you the fact that it is OCD Awareness Week and we are having the important conversations that matter. Stick around. I'll see you after this.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Welcome back to Act Locally Live with Rogue Media Network and Act Locally Waco. I'm Elizabeth Riley. We have covered what happened in Waco this past weekend. We have covered the fact that it is OCD Awareness Week, and we are having the hard conversations and breaking stigmas and stopping the spread of misinformation on that disorder. And now we are going to discuss what is coming up in Waco this week that you should be putting on your calendar. Today is Martini Monday at One Day Bar, so you can get an espresso martini, a classic martini, a lemon drop martini, or a chocolate martini for $8 all day long. If you have ever wanted to learn to skate, or if you needed a fun way to stay in shape, or if you want to learn anything about roller derby without getting hit, you can join Waco Roller Derby for their fitness night at their Skate Country Belmead location tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. It's open to all ages 14 plus. You will get 2 hours of skating practice and new skate friends. You don't need to bring any gear. They have loaners available, and it is only $10 per class. Check it out. If you're into craft beverages and good books, quite like I am, be sure to check out Sloan's Bar for their library hours coming Tuesday, October 14th. You can cozy up with a hot tea or a good drink and crack open your current read with fellow book lovers. You can join the Waco Chamber of Commerce for a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, October 15th, 5 p.m. to celebrate the grand reopening of True Jamaica Restaurant. Chamber members are welcome to attend and show their support, but they hope to see everyone from the community out there to support this establishment making its way back to brick and mortar. Baylor Theater is presenting the iconic Little Women starting October 15th. This is based on the beloved novel by Louisa May Alcott, and it is a musical that follows the adventures of Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy March growing up in the 19th century in Massachusetts, navigating love, loss, and new beginnings. This is set up against the backdrop of the Civil War, and this musical's uplifting and astonishing score really captures the timeless themes of resilience, hope, and pursuit of one's dreams. I honestly really want to go see it. I'm a big fan of Little Women. The Edgar Allan Poe Speakeasy, Chapter 2, is descending upon Anthem Stories on Austin Avenue on October 16th and 18th, inviting guests into a world where the line between the living and the literary blurs with every sip. Guests can expect 90 minutes of immersive theater and dramatic recitations with mixology that borders on alchemy. You are invited to celebrate the opening of Waco's newest craft casual Restaurant and Bar. Doghouse Waco is hosting their ribbon cutting on Friday, October 17th, marking its grand opening. They've already hosted a soft opening, if you've heard me talking about it before, but this is where the party is at. The event at 215 South University Parks Drive will begin at 11:30 a.m., and they will feature all-beef gourmet hot dogs, handcrafted sausages, and smash burgers on their menu. So go check them out. You can hop into a good time with this year's Brew at the Zoo, Brew for Roos. This is a 2-night celebration of craft beer, conservation, and kangaroo-approved fun happening this Friday and Saturday, October 17th and 18th. You can enjoy after-hours access to Cameron Park Zoo as you sample local and regional brews, savor bites from Waco's best food trucks, and then groove to live music under the stars. Every sip supports the care and conservation of animals like our newest additions, the red kangaroos. You must be 21 plus to attend. There are no exceptions. Your ID is required at entry. And guess what? There are designated driver tickets available. So you can get your ticket at a half price and you will be served waters and sodas all night. But you can still join in the fun and drive safe. We are not condoning drunk driving around here. Asian Leaders Network and Waco Downtown Farmers Market are joining forces for their second annual Diwali Festival, Saturday, October 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can experience the vibrancy of the celebration of the Festival of Lights, which is typically found across India and South Asia, but it'll be right here in the heart of Waco, Texas. Waco Mammoth National Monument is hosting their Fall Fossil Festival on Saturday, October 18th from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is going to be in partnership with the City of Waco, Recreation Department, the National Park Service, and they're inviting you to a variety of family-friendly activities, including fossil identification and exhibits, a bird walk, a nature trail hike, and artist-in-resident performances inside the dig shelter. That is going to be so cool. There will be a story time at the amphitheater as well as a mock dig pit experience for the kids. Admission to the festival is free. Regular ticket fees apply to get access to the quarry and the dig shelter. But yeah, it includes a ton of other free stuff that you will want to check out. Out on the Brazos is being hosted by the Waco Pride Network at Indian Springs Park this year on October 18th from noon to 5 p.m. Pride in the Park brings together tons of local vendors, talented musicians, and quite literally the coolest people in town to the beautiful space that is Indian Springs Park. And it's closer to town than its old location, so it's easier to get to. Better see you there. Eastside Market is back at Brotherwell Brewing this Saturday, October 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. They're going to have vendors, food trucks, live music, thrift swaps, graffiti battles, all of the action that you don't want to miss at Brotherwell this Saturday. If you've been eyeing this beautiful artwork behind me, you should know that it's for sale. And you can either message us at Act Locally Waco across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or you can contact Debbie Miller from Corsicana directly on her Instagram at Debbie Rose Miller, or you can find her online studio at DebbieMillerStudio.com. Yet again, you can find me at the Zach Owen Show, live from the Backyard Bar Stage and Grill, where I bring you Nashville's Music City news, some more Waco segments. You can find me on the Ann Harder Show with additional Waco news, and all over your social medias. We've got a website, actlocallywaco.org. You should read some of my work on there. It's probably a little bit more informative, coherent, concise than this early morning rambling that I do, but you'd go double check it and let me know. Be sure to subscribe here and turn on notifications so you catch us live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then also go subscribe to our newsletter, The Whole Enchilada, where you get the list of weekend events as well as more words from yours truly. Happy Monday, happy October. I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.